Hello, Captain Hopkins. You have foiled far too many of my plans. It ends here.
Trick or treat!
That's a very pretty costume you're wearing.
Thanks, my mom made it. Did your mom make your costume?
Yes, you did.
Did your dad make this robot costume?
Yes, his dad's a great scientist. He made that.
That's pretty cool. Trick or treat.
There you are.
Thank you.
Hey guys, you want to come in and watch a movie? I just made some fresh popcorn. Here you go, ice cold Coke for you. Here's an ice cold Coke for you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Do you have a coaster?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, yes, of course.
I love this show.
It's my favorite.
I'm not afraid of ghosts or haunted houses. Huh? Did you hear that? What was that? Huh? Do you think this house is haunted? I'm out of here.
I thought he'd never leave. He named Ghost the wrong name.
Hey folks!
Hi.
Chad and Bunny here from
The Chad and Bunny Show.
That's right. Where can they watch us, Bunny?
On the Monster Channel.
And where else?
YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah. Instagram and TikTok.
Just watch us somewhere.
Watch us on the Monster Channel. You'll have a relatively good time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and we wanted to say a big shout out to Don from Don's Breakfast Cereal Show.
Hey, Don.
Yeah, Don. You know, although I've been watching his show, I don't see any cereal.
Well, we have a cereal.
We have cereal. We got Ann's Berry cereal.
And coming soon.
Right?
The
Chad.
And
Bunny.
cereal.
Right. We've got our own brand of cereal.
You gotta taste ours.
Yeah, you gotta taste the Chad and Bunny cereal. Although, I don't know if you really want to eat the Chad.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So, hey, Don, thanks for putting on a great show. We love watching you.
Loved it.
So, see ya.
Buy your cereal, don't eat it.
Hello, this is Don O'Malley with Don's Breakfast Cereal Show, and this is Ian O'Malley. He's almost 12 weeks old. It's my grandson. Today we have House on the Haunted Hill, starring Vincent Price. He's not afraid of any ghosts. So here we go with House on the Haunted Hill. And this is Ian. Remember your lines? Okay, that's good. Bye. We'll be back.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hello kitties, it's your old friend Halloween Jack, and I just wanted to drop by and say that you are watching my dear friend Don's holiday special. And I hope you're enjoying it. So now, let's get into the next part of It's a Wonderful Life. What? What do you mean? It's not that holiday. You said holiday. It's a Halloween special. But you said holiday. To me, holiday means Christmas. What is he showing? House on Haunted. Hey, anyway, folks, let's get into the next part of House on Haunted Hill. Oh, boy.
Cheers!
I'd better play it cagey.
The ghosts are moving tonight, restless, hungry. May I introduce myself? I'm Watson Pritchard. In just a minute, I'll show you the only really haunted house in the world. Since it was built a century ago, 7 people, including my brother, have been murdered in it.
I have you now.
Since then, I've owned the house. I've only spent one night there, and when they found me in the morning, I was almost dead.
I'm Frederick Loren, and I've rented the house on Haunted Hill tonight so that my wife can give a party. A haunted house party. She's so amusing. There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited. If any of you will spend the next 12 hours in this house, I'll give you each $10,000. Or your next of kin in case you don't survive.
Zoinks!
Ah, but here come our other guests. It was my wife's idea to have our guests come in funeral cars. She's so amusing. Her sense of humor is, shall we say, original. I dreamed up the hearse. It's empty now, but after a night in the house on Haunted Hill, who knows? This is Lance Schroeder, a test pilot, so no doubt a brave man. But don't you think you can be much braver if you're paid for it? And I happen to know that Lance needs the $10,000 I'll give him, if he's brave enough to stay all night. This is Ruth Bridges. You've no doubt read her column in the newspapers. She says her reason for coming to the party is to write a feature article on ghosts. She's also desperate for money, gambles. You've already met Watson Pritchard, a man living in mortal fear of a house, and yet he is risking his life to spend another night here. I wonder why. He says for money. This is Dr. David Trent, a psychiatrist. He claims that my ghost will help his work on hysteria. But don't you see a little touch of greed there? Around the mouth and eyes? This is Nora Manning. I picked her from the thousands of people who work for me because she needed the $10,000 more than most. Supports her whole family. Isn't she pretty? The party's starting now, and you have until midnight to find the house on Haunted Hill.
In a case like this, Shag and Scoob did exactly the right thing. Let's scram!
Well, where is everybody?
It isn't a very warm welcome, is it?
Only the ghosts in this house are glad we're here.
Are we all strangers to each other? Don't you two know each other?
I'm afraid I don't even know your name.
I'm Nora Manning.
Lance Schroeder.
Is Frederick Loren a friend of yours?
I've heard of him, but I've never met him.
I work for one of his companies, but I've never seen him.
I've never met the man either. Just a phone call. Do you know him?
No,
Well, then you're the only one of us who does.
I don't know him. All the details about renting the house were done by mail.
He's quite wealthy, isn't he?
Millions.
And 5 wives, I believe.
4, I think, so far.
A $50,000 party for only 5 people is a little steep, even for a millionaire.
Well, if I were going to haunt anybody, this would certainly be the house I'd do it in.
Who closed the door?
This thing's made of solid steel.
I need your love to keep me warm.
What's the big idea? Don't stand there gawking, son. Speak up.
Annabelle. Our guests are here, unfortunately still alive. Is your face on yet?
Hello.
Dust and dirt everywhere, and the water barely trickles. Couldn't you have had the place cleaned?
Atmosphere, darling. You know how ghosts are. They never tidy up. And that's a very fetching outfit, but hardly suitable for a party.
I'm not going to the party.
The spend-the-night ghost party was your idea, remember? Since it's going to cost me $50,000, I want you to have fun.
The party was my idea until you invited all the guests. Why all these strangers? Why none of our friends?
Friends? Do we have any friends?
No, your jealousy took care of that.
I had a reason for inviting each guest. I wanted kind of a cross-section. From psychiatrist to typist, and from drunk to jet pilot. They share one thing. They all need money. Now let's see if they're brave enough to earn it.
And you call this a party?
Could be.
Why do you always do that? It spoils the champagne.
It might explode.
Never does.
Would you guarantee that?
That isn't funny, Frederick.
Make a good headline. Playboy kills wife with champagne cork. Will you join me?
No, thank you.
Just a sip might improve your humor.
My humor is fine, thanks. And I haven't poisoned it.
It's always good to know that. Have some. You'll enjoy the party more. Go on.
Your trust is so touching. And I'm not going to the party.
Of all my wives, you're the least agreeable.
But still alive.
Would you go away for $1 million tax-free? You want it all, don't you?
I deserve it all. Your jealousy isn't tax-free, and your possessiveness is maddening.
If ever a man had grounds for divorce.
But can't prove them.
The time will come. You'll slip up one of these days.
Think so?
If I live long enough. You remember the fun we had when you poisoned me?
Something you ate, the doctor said.
Yes. Arsenic on the rocks. Annabelle, you'd do it again if you thought you could get away with it, wouldn't you?
Darling, what makes you think that?
Something about you.
I'm not one to stand by and let a lady do a man's job.
I hear that hanging is very uncomfortable, in case you get any more ideas. Don't let the ghosts and the ghouls disturb you, darling.
Darling, the only ghoul in the house is you.
And don't sit up all night thinking of ways to get rid of me. It makes wrinkles.
Boy, she's the original dumb clook.
This is what she used on my brother and her sister. Hacked them to pieces. We found parts of the bodies all over the house, in places you wouldn't think. The funny thing is the heads have never been found. Hands and feet and things like that. But no heads.
The wife, probably in a rage, threatened her husband with a knife and then, carried away by hysteria, took a swing at him and simply went on from there.
She certainly went on. How many people did she kill, Mr. Pritchard?
Only two. Her husband and her sister. No one else was here.
So there are two loose heads just floating around in here somewhere?
You can hear them at night. They whisper to each other and then cry.
Since our host isn't here, would anyone care to mix me a drink?
Certainly. What will you have?
Good evening. I'm your host, Frederick Loren. Since we're all strangers to each other, let's get acquainted with a drink, shall we?
Mr. Loren, I advise you to call this party off now. The ghosts are already moving, and that's a bad sign.
Let me apologize for my wife. She'll join us later. What do you have?
Scotch and.
Doctor?
I'll have the same.
Now, before the party begins, let's go over the details. The caretakers will leave at midnight, locking us in here until they come back in the morning. Once the door is locked, there's no way out. The windows have bars that a jail would be proud of, and the only door to the outside locks like a vault. There's no electricity, no phone, no one within miles, so no way to call for help.
Like her coffin.
So if any of you decide not to stay for the party, you must let me know before midnight. Of course, if you leave, I shan't be able to pay you anything.
I'm interested in your reasons for this, party. Aside from the pleasant company.
Ghosts, Doctor. I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost. And now my wife has given us all the opportunity to find out.
Amusing. Ghosts, etc., being only creations of hysteria, your party should be a success.
Well, Pritchard here promises us genuine ghosts.
7 now. Maybe more before morning.
That's cheerful.
4 men have been murdered in this house. And 3 women.
You planned your party very well, Mr. Loren. 4 of us are men, 3 are women. Well, a ghost for everybody.
Well, Pritchard, why don't you take us on a tour through the house and let's see what happens.
Maybe we can help him solve this mystery.
See that stain? Blood. A young girl was killed here. And whatever got her wasn't human. Don't stand there.
What do you mean? Where?
Man, like plenty spooky.
It's too late. They've marked you.
Ridiculous. The roof probably leaks.
Oh, that must be what it is. Who would want to haunt me?
I would say any self-respecting male ghost.
I hope it doesn't come back.
Well, Mr. Pritchard, you're the life of the party.
Oh, he hasn't even started yet. Wasn't there a man who threw his wife into a wine vat or something?
That was in the cellar. There's been a murder almost every place in this house.
Follow me.
All this belonged to a Mr. Norton, who didn't die here. He was electrocuted later. Mr. Norton did a good deal of experimenting with wines, but his wife didn't think it was any good. So he filled the vat with acid and threw her in. She was supposed to stay down, but the bones came up. It's a funny thing, but none of the murders here were just ordinary. Just shooting or stabbing. They've all been sort of wild, violent, and different. Look out! Thank God she didn't fall in.
You mean there's still acid in there?
Destroys everything with hair and flesh. Just leaves the bones. My, it's dry and dusty down here.
Well, there's a cure for that upstairs. Come on. How'd you get invited to this party? No. No, go on. I mean, what'd he tell you?
Mr. Loren said everybody'd get $10,000.
But he didn't say anything about being locked in.
No.
He just made a deal with me on the phone, but nothing about having to stay.
Aren't you going to stay?
If I don't, I lose $10,000.
I'm going to stay too. $10,000.
Yeah. You believe in ghosts?
I don't know.
Well, I agree with what that doc says. You can spook yourself. I've done it in planes. Seen things that weren't really there. Or were they? What are you going to do with your $10,000? If we get it.
What do you mean, if we get it? Won't he pay us if we stay?
Ah, sure he will. $10,000 is no more to him than a nickel is to us.
We were in an automobile accident. Now I'm the only one in the family who can make any money.
Boy, I've never seen so many doors. Closet. Bottles.
Does it go anywhere? Lance! Lance!
Uber Eats? This is in 1313 Mockingbird Lane? Sorry.
mean.
Please, come on.
Did she say Lance is gone? Gone where?
Holy nightmare!
We'll have to break it down. It's locked.
What?
You all right?
Nothing that money won't cure. I must have bumped my head.
And the only way you could bump your head in here is to run head on into the wall. You didn't do that, did you? Let's get a bandage on that.
I wonder why they didn't kill him.
Who?
He didn't bump his head. They hit him.
They?
Nora, when you came in, you said something about a ghost.
There was something.
What did it look like?
Well, it was wearing a black thing that went all the way to the floor.
Weren't you a little frightened at the time?
Well, yes.
That, Mr. Loren, is hysteria.
Well, then, Doctor, how do you explain what happened to Lance? Was that hysteria, too?
You better get that checked in a day or so.
Thanks, Doc.
Wait for me in the hall.
Hey, don't drink that poison. That's $4 an ounce.
Ghosts are coming closer, Mr. Loren.
You really believe in your pet ghost, don't you, Pritchard?
Before the night's over, you will, too.
Would you like a drink, Lance?
No, thanks.
I'd like one. Scotch and. Mr. Loren, are you really going to pay anyone who stays all night?
Certainly. $10,000.
Will there be much red tape or delay?
In a hurry, dear?
Frankly, yes. Or frantically.
There you are, my dear.
Do you suppose I could buy back my introduction to you?
Someone or something was in here when I came in. But where? And if the door was locked, how did it get out? What you saw might have been a ghost, Nora, but what was in here with me was no ghost.
I don't know. I was so scared.
Does it sound different to you?
Yes.
Three, 6, 9, 12. 12 feet. Three, 6. Now, I'm going to knock on the other wall. When you hear me, you knock on this wall. Tap lower down.
I don't understand their running out that way. He couldn't have been friendlier.
Where'd it come from?
From in here.
There's a very logical explanation for all this.
Quick, tell me.
The place is haunted.
Thanks a lot.
Ran out of here. I'd have seen it.
Lance, it doesn't run, it just floats.
Yeah, but why didn't I see it?
You don't believe me.
How can I?
Freddie, this place gives me goosebumps.
I'm Annabelle Loren. You must be Miss Manning. I realize this is a very unusual and I'm afraid very dull party. Wouldn't you like to freshen up? This is your room. Depressing, isn't it?
I doubt if I'll spend much time here.
It's going to rain. Perfect atmosphere for my husband's party. Why did you come here?
He said he'd give me $10,000.
Why did he pick you?
I don't know. My supervisor just came and said I'd been invited.
How long have you known my husband?
I just met him tonight.
So? Why you? What were you doing wandering around by yourself?
Well, I was in the cellar with Lance, Mr. Schroeder, and I just left, that's all.
Don't do it again. Don't go anywhere in this house by yourself. Now fix your face and I'll come by for you in a few minutes.
But
You're in danger. We all are.
But who?
I hope for your sake you never find out.
Now hold on, that was a joke, girl.
I'm Annabelle Loren. Were you looking for something?
Not exactly.
Are you the doctor?
No, I'm Lance Schroeder.
The pilot. You've hurt yourself.
Oh, it's just a bump on the head. Which is my room?
I believe this is it.
Thank you, Mrs. Loren.
Annabelle, Lance. You were with the young girl in the cellar. Why was she so upset?
Was she?
And you don't look like the type to go around bumping his head. What really happened, Lance?
Well, Nora thought she saw a ghost, but I didn't see anything.
She was just frightened then.
And mad at me, I think. I kidded her about it.
I wouldn't joke about anything else that happens here tonight.
Now, don't tell me you're taking all this seriously.
Aren't you?
Well, I'd like to find out what hit me.
Lance. If I need help, may I count on you?
Sure, I guess so. Look, what's going on here anyway? I mean, what is with this party bit?
This is no party. He's planning something.
Your husband?
I wish I knew what it was.
Must be pretty big if he's going to lay out $50,000.
The money doesn't mean anything. He has a reason for getting us all up here to this dreadful old house.
Well, what for? He doesn't even know us.
Maybe that's exactly why you're here.
Well, what can he get away with?
Oh, he thinks that big money like his can get away with anything. You know, of course, that I'm his fourth wife. The first simply disappeared. The other two died. Lance, I don't want to join them.
You mean he,
Oh, his doctor said they died of heart attacks. 2 girls in their 20s.
Well, what can he do?
My husband is sometimes insane with jealousy. Nothing matters to him then. Please be careful.
Would he hurt you?
He would kill me if he could.
Well, you're missing all the fun. Nora Manning was almost killed by a falling chandelier. The pilot bashed his head in.
Is he badly hurt?
The Saturnine psychiatrist bandaged him up. Don't you want to go and console him, as you do most men, in your fashion?
You're so clever, Frederick.
Yes, I lie awake nights wondering why I married you. It was rather a mistake.
You didn't marry me, dear. I married you. Unpleasant, but no mistake.
Well, hurry up.
Frederick, for the last time, I'm not going to your party.
And for the last time, it's not my party, but yours. And you are going.
I am not.
You ready, dear?
No.
Are you ready, dear?
Yes, damn you.
Would you adore me as much if I were poor? No. All you want to be is a lovely widow. It's almost time to lock up the house. And then your party will really begin.
Go away, boy, you bother me.
I wonder how it'll end. Close to midnight, Lance.
Okay. I'll be down in a minute.
Who is it?
Your host, my dear. It's almost midnight, Nora. We're all going to get together down in the living room.
All right, Mr. Loren. I'll be right down.
Come with us. Come with us before he kills you.
Where's Nora? Miss Manning.
Don't want to stay here.
Nora, what happened?
You rang.
That's Jonas Slydes and his wife. They've been caretakers here for years. She's blind, you know.
I'm not going to stay here.
Well, Doctor, it looks like we have a real case of hysteria on our hands.
I think she's just a little upset, not hysterical.
Good evening.
Hello, my dear. This is my wife. These are our guests. Ruth Bridges, Dr. Trent. You know Watson Pritchard, of course. Nora Manning, and this is Lance Schroeder.
Get me out of here.
Now, what about the 10,000?
I don't care. He wants to kill me.
Who wants to kill you?
Mr. Loren.
May I have your attention, please? I think you all remember the bargain we made about staying all night. $10,000 apiece. If any of you don't survive, $50,000 will be divided amongst the rest of you. If I should die...
Nutty as a fruitcake.
You will be paid by my estate. When the door is locked from the outside by the caretakers, we'll all be forced to stay in this house until morning. If any of you decide not to stay, you must leave with the caretakers now. You won't have a chance to change your minds later, because there'll be no way to get out.
I don't want to stay.
Wait.
It isn't midnight yet. Who told them they could leave?
They never leave before midnight.
Well, they've gone now. I was going to ask you whether you wanted to stay or not, but it seems that the caretakers have made the decision for you. We're all locked in now.
But I don't want to stay.
And I'm sorry, my dear, but it's too late now.
Darling, haven't you had enough of the silly game? Get some cars up here for these people and let them go home. But pay them first.
This is your party, remember? In spite of my wife's faith in my ability to do the impossible, we will all have to stay in this house until 8 o'clock in the morning. But we have some party favors for you in these little coffins. This is my wife's idea. I must say, I think it's rather dangerous. I suppose you all know how to use one of these things, but in case you don't, you just press down on this lever with your thumb and then pull the trigger. You see, they're loaded.
These are no good against the dead, only the living.
Doctor? Lance? Nora?
Go ahead, take it.
Miss Pritchard. And here's yours, dear.
I don't need it.
It was your idea. Who knows, you may want to use it on me before this night is over.
Throw these guns away. They won't do you any good.
I agree with Pritchard on that point, although not for the same reason.
Dr. Trent, don't you approve of our little party favors?
Suppose Nora had had a gun when she mistook the blind woman for a ghost.
I don't think anyone else is going to walk around in total darkness.
Oh, I'm sure we're not going to go running around the house shooting each other, aren't you?
Who knows? Fear makes people do amazing things.
Mr. Pritchard, you said your sister-in-law killed a man and a woman here and cut them up? You said they found hands and feet, but they never found any heads. Would you like to see one of those heads? Would you all like to see one of those heads? Well then, just follow me.
Darling, I really don't need this.
Just go look in my suitcase. Just go look. But it was in there. A woman's head.
Nora, I think you're a little upset. Would you care for a sedative?
Get out! Get out, all of you! All of you, get out of here and leave me alone! Just get out of here!
You think it's all right to leave her by herself, Doctor?
I wish she'd taken the sedative.
Well, what do you suppose she thought she saw?
They're closing in on her.
Look, Doc, I think somebody ought to stay with her.
There could be 1 million people around her. But if they wanted her, they'd get her.
What if he's right?
He's too drunk to know what he's talking about.
I wonder. I'll join you in a minute.
Do you think it would do any good if you went in and talk to her?
Well, do you think there really was a head in her suitcase?
I don't know.
A thing like that would put me right over the edge.
But would you sort of stay up here, I mean, in case she needs help?
All right. I'll be in my room. Just call it.
Thanks.
Are you sure there are only 7 people in this house?
Positive, except for the ghosts.
I don't believe in ghosts, nor in frightening women. In Nora's case, it's gone far enough. Perhaps too far.
What do you suggest we do about it, Doctor?
Don't frighten her anymore.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Nora? Nora? Nora?
Don't touch it, boy! Get away! This is dangerous, son. You gotta know how to handle it. One wrong move and you're done for.
Nora! Nora! What do you know about this?
They've taken her. In a little while, she'll be one of them.
Where's Nora? Where is she?
It's too late. It's too late. You'll never find her again.
Pritchard, if you know where she is, you better tell me now.
She's gone. She's gone with them. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Let her down.
I got it! I got it! I got it! I ain't got it!
Nora?
She's dead, Mr. Loren. Your wife hanged herself.
Suicide.
Hide me, please, hide me.
What's the matter?
I don't think so.
He tried to kill me. He grabbed me and choked me and put me in that room. And then he went away and left me.
Who?
He thought I was dead.
Who?
Mr. Lord.
Are you sure about this?
I don't know. It was dark, but it must have been him.
Has anybody seen you since he left you?
I heard some people in that room, but I went by and nobody saw me.
Mrs. Loren is dead.
How?
Loren said she committed suicide, but I think somebody killed her.
Him?
I'm sure you've come to the same conclusion I have.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's all have a meeting, discuss what to do. The living room?
Okay, in a minute. I've got to go downstairs. Now, you lock yourself in here and don't let anybody know you're here. If he thinks you're dead, he won't come here. And I'll get back as soon as I can. You'll be all right. And if you have to, you use it. So beautiful. So greedy. So cold. What are you doing in here?
Wait. Don't wait.
What do you mean coming in here?
I didn't want them to take her away.
You're drunk.
They will if you don't watch her.
You're drunk. All right, out with it, Pritchard. Why did you come into this room?
I'm the only one who understands.
Understands what?
Your wife isn't there anymore. She's already joined them.
Look, Pritchard, I've had enough of your spook talk. Get out, you sot, and don't come back into this room again.
Where's what's-her-name? Nora.
I didn't disturb her since I don't think this concerns her.
No, you're right.
Mr. Loren, isn't there some way we can get out of this house now?
No, none at all.
We could try breaking out.
The only door to the outside is made of steel. The bars of the windows are set in solid stone. We gotta stay.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Pritchard. But I am afraid. When we came here a few hours ago, the only thing we had in common was the $10,000 we'd get. Now, however, we share something else. The death of Mrs. Loren. So far tonight, one of us was almost killed by a falling chandelier. One of us was mysteriously slugged. One of us has been driven to the brink of absolute hysteria, and one of us is dead. Were these accidents? Suicide? And we must stay here for 6 more hours.
6 hours? 6 of us. Time enough.
Who'll be next? How will it happen?
Let me ask you a question, Doctor. You were the first one to see my wife there. Did you also see anything that she could have climbed up on and then jumped?
No.
Did any of you? There was nothing. How then did she get up there so high?
Exactly, Mr. Loren. How? She couldn't have pulled herself up there. She couldn't have dropped.
Look, sister, is any of this filtering through that little blue bonnet of yours?
No. She was murdered by one of you.
Or you, Mr. Loren. To deliberately kill someone, you must have a reason.
We were all strangers to your wife. Only you had a motive for murder.
What husband hasn't at some time wanted to kill his wife? What husband hasn't had 1,000 opportunities to do it in such a way so that he'd never be suspected? I'm not such a fool as to hang my wife from a ceiling by a rope.
The fact remains that you, or one of us, murdered Mrs. Loren. And that's a matter for the police.
So how do we get the police?
That's my point. We can't until morning. What began as a silly party given by an eccentric has now involved us all in murder.
For once, Pritchard may be right. If another murder's in the works, let's stop it now.
Another murder?
Why not? Maybe one of us saw too much.
Why should even a millionaire want to give each of us $10,000 to spend one night in a gloomy old house? To see some ghosts, have a party? No.
Have you finished trying me, Doctor? And is the verdict guilty of murder?
Oh, this isn't getting us anywhere. Somebody killed Mrs. Loren. We know that. One of us is guilty and the rest of us are innocent, okay. Now, what we have to do for the next 6 hours is protect ourselves from each other.
You really think?
I don't think anything. I just know that I'm going to my room. And if anybody comes in, I'll shoot him. Or her.
And if we all stay in our rooms, we'll be safe. Because the innocent will have no reason to leave his room. And the guilty will admit his guilt if he or she does.
And we all have guns.
And we're all agreed?
Oh, I wish this night were over.
Rooms? Guns? I tell you, it doesn't make any difference. They aren't through with us yet.
I hope I never see any jerks again.
Spread out!
What's the use of saying goodnight?
I don't think this boy's got all his marbles. Shakes his head when he means yes, nods when he means no.
Good night.
Good night, Doctor.
This boy's making more noise than a couple of skeletons throwing a fit on a tin roof.
I'm so scared. I wish I had a ham sandwich to calm my nerves.
Nora, it's me, Lance. You okay? They've all gone to their rooms and locked themselves in.
Lance, I've been thinking. It was so dark down there. Maybe it wasn't Mr. Loren.
It was him, all right. He tried to kill you, and he did kill his wife.
How can you be so sure?
She tried to warn me, asked me to help her. The doc thinks he's going to try and kill one of us. Now, there must be a way out of this place, and I'm going to find it and get the police before he does.
I'm going with you.
What if he finds out you're alive? No, Nora. You're safer here than any place else. Now just lock yourself in and keep quiet.
Less talk and more action.
If I find a way out, I'll come back and get you.
Admission of guilt, Doctor?
Certainly not. There's either somebody else in this house or one of us has left his room. Did you hear anything?
Organ music?
That, and someone walking.
You got yours? Ready?
You look downstairs, and I'll look up here.
Why not together?
There may be only minutes, seconds left of someone's life. Why waste time? It's almost over, darling. Every detail was perfect.
What's happening?
We've done it. A perfect crime. Beautiful.
Has she killed him?
Not yet. But she will.
Get me out of this hanging harness. What's taking that girl so long? What time is it?
At first, I couldn't get Nora to want to protect herself with a gun. But after you appeared at the window, everything began to work just as we had planned. You were wonderful. Just the touch that finally drove her into complete hysteria.
It'll be worth all of our planning, darling. Where's Nora now? What's happening?
On her way to the cellar. So scared she'll shoot the first thing that moves.
And Frederick?
On his way to the cellar, too.
David, are you sure none of them will suspect us?
Of what? An hysterical girl accidentally shoots somebody? Who would suspect that we planned it that way, that we drove her to it?
What about my suicide?
But just a ghost party gag. We'll claim it was a dummy since I'm the only one who touched you.
And the caretakers?
Well, they had no idea what they were really doing.
What about Nora? She's not stupid, you know.
Darling, believe me, everything we've planned is working perfectly. Nora is sure Frederick murdered you. She thinks Frederick attacked her in the cellar, not me. And now Nora's almost out of her mind with fear. The heads, the music, you're hanging. I tell you, when Frederick walks in there, she'll shoot him.
It's taking too long. David, you ought to be there.
When you hear the shot, come down to the cellar.
David? David?
At last you've got it all. Everything I have. Even my life. But you're not going to live to enjoy it. Come with me, murderess. Come with me. Annabelle. The crime you two planned was indeed perfect. Only the victim is alive and the murderers are not. It's a pity you didn't know when you started your game of murder that I was playing too.
There must be some way to get in here.
It's right along here, somewhere.
Lance! I've shot Mr. Loren. He's down in the wine cellar.
Alive?
I don't think so. It's him. He's alive.
You didn't shoot anyone, my dear. I loaded your gun with blanks. I can tell you all now. Trent and my wife were planning to kill me. They failed. Trent tried to throw me in the vat. My wife stumbled and fell. I'm ready for justice to decide if I'm innocent or guilty.
Now they're 9. There'll be more, many more. They're coming for me now. And then they'll come for you.
It's all over, Bullwinkle.
Hey folks,
Hi.
Chad and Bunny here from
The Chad and Bunny Show.
That's right. Where can they watch us, Bunny?
On the Monster Channel.
That's right. You can also watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and we do post sometimes on Instagram and TikTok. So we're all over the map. But
all over.
We love being on the Monster Channel. Just like Don from Don's Breakfast Cereal Show. He's on the Monster Channel too.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Don. Nice cereals and nice commercials and nice shows. We got our cereal here, Ann's Berry Cereal. It's delicious. And coming soon will be Chad and Bunny cereal.
Chad and Bunny's?
Yeah, Chad and Bunny cereal.
The Chad and Bunny cereal coming soon.
It's coming soon. So, hi, Don. Thanks for putting on a great show.
Key Witness, starring Vincent Price. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Key Witness, a brand new program that tests your powers of observation while it entertains. Do you get all the facts in a story? More important, do you get them right? Well, here's the man who'll help you find out, the star of stage, screen, and television, Vincent Price.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I'm really kind of excited tonight because I think we've hit on an idea that is truly different. It's called Key Witness. Now, most of us pride ourselves on our powers of observation, and we often wonder how two different people can witness the same event and yet come up with entirely different versions of it. Well, tonight we're going to try and answer that question for you. You're going to see a dramatic film in which I play one of the parts. And after each act, I am going to ask questions of members of the audience as to what they thought they heard and saw. Now, this wouldn't be television unless there were prizes, so here is Reed Browning to tell you about them. Reed, if you please.
Thank you, Vincent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's really quite simple. We're going to select 8 members of our studio audience at random. And they're going to come up here on our stage, and they'll see the same film that we do on this big screen right here behind me. But we're going to ask each one of them a question. The amount of the prize that they'll receive will depend on how difficult we think the question is. If the contestant answers correctly, he gets a chance at the jackpot question at the end of our show. If he's wrong, the money goes into our jackpot, which tonight starts at $200. So keep your eyes and ears open as Key Witness presents Vincent Price and Marie Windsor in Tall, Dark, and Handsome.
Good afternoon, sir. Oh, scotch and soda.
How much is my husband paying you?
I beg your pardon?
You've obviously been following me.
Obviously. How very unsubtle. Thanks. I'll admit I've been admiring you.
You still haven't answered my question. Are you working for my husband?
In a manner of speaking, yeah.
So you're a private eye. You're not at all the type I'd pictured.
Naturally, or I shouldn't have been assigned to the case. The Collier Detective Agency takes pride in its casting.
And why did my husband hire you to follow me?
He thinks you've been making time with a tall, dark stranger.
Dear, dear. How wrong he is.
You love him?
That's beside the point. There is no tall, dark stranger.
Short blonde string?
No strangers.
Let's have another drink.
Why?
I'll explain it to you at a later date.
All right.
That is, if we can have another date.
Why not?
We had that later date, and it wasn't the last one. It was the first one of the most dynamic tailspin a man ever went into. She was coming here tonight, to my apartment, in less than an hour.
Are you happy?
Are you?
You know, this is the first time I've ever been to a man's apartment alone.
Where did your husband get all this misinformation?
Out of his little evil mind. When he hired you to follow me, it put the idea in my head. And I'm sorry he didn't do it sooner. Look what I've been...
To think we owe all this happiness to your husband. There is, however, a small dark cloud on the horizon.
Well, order it away, and don't worry about anything.
This can end.
We just mustn't let it end.
Darling, let's get lost somewhere, huh?
I'm a married woman.
Do you have to stay married? Oh, do you?
Yes. Are you going to force me to tell you?
What?
How bad I am?
Are you bad?
Being poor is bad. I was raised poorer than I like to think about. I don't know how I survived. I really don't.
Darling.
That's one thing I never forgot, Paul. I promised myself I'd never go hungry again as long as I lived.
That doesn't make you bad.
It made me marry Arthur for his money. And it'll make me stay with him till he dies.
I thought you loved me.
I'm glad you don't know how much I love you. I keep you awake nights.
Well, then how can you go on talking about staying married to an old man until he's dead?
I'm talking about $2 million. I'm only 25. He could die before I'm old, couldn't he?
What?
Well, he could. He could die tomorrow.
How?
Don't you know? Think of it.
Adrian, don't talk like that. Divorce him. We'll go away together. Forget about the money. I'll make it up to you.
No, Paul, I've made up my mind. This is the only way for us. Otherwise...
Otherwise what?
I'll stay with him and his millions. This much I know.
What kind of a decision are you asking me to make?
The same kind I'm faced with. Heaven or hell on earth.
Somehow I've never thought of myself in this situation. It's always been the other fellow. Murder. I've got to think.
Think of it as best you can, Paul. Think and let your decision depend on how deep your love is. How deep is your love, Paul?
I looked at the calendar next morning. Days since I'd taken on Arthur P. Phelan as a client. Objective? Trailing his wife. Now I had a new objective. Murdering my client. Why not? Where would I ever get another crack at $2 million? I like nice things. This tie, these ruby cufflinks. Little gifts from my client's wife. She's in love with me. I hadn't exactly figured on marriage, but, well, get your hands on the dough first. You can work out the rest later. Murder. You've seen guys beat a murder rap. Besides, who could frame a perfect murder better than you? Crime is your business.
Well, darling,
I've got the plan.
You have?
Yes. You have your own car?
Mm-hmm, the one we drive around in. Arthur gave it to me for my birthday.
Well, that was thoughtful of him. You know Forsyth Road, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where it meets Granger Turnpike?
It's a pretty desolate part of the country.
It's all the better for our side. There's a little deserted house just off the side road. Park there at 9:45 tonight.
For how long?
Till I get there.
You mean you intend to do it tonight?
Why wait? Adrian, you remember how we met?
You were trying to catch me with a tall, dark stranger.
Right. That's who they're going to suspect.
Who?
The tall, dark stranger.
And there you have the first act of Tall, Dark, and Handsome. And it's time for Vincent Price to assume his role of prosecuting attorney.
Prosecuting attorney? Well, that sounds so unfriendly, Reed, for a man who's going to play Santa Claus and give away all that money. Well, let's see now. For our first key witness. Hello, sir. What's your name?
Edgar Bailey.
Edgar Bailey, where are you from?
New York.
New York. Do you have any friends here with you?
Yes, I do have.
Well, please don't let them help you, because the testimony of a key witness is worthless if he's been coached. Now, here is your question, and it's kind of difficult, so it's worth $80. How many people did you see in the bar? That's including myself and the bartender.
12.
You say 12? Well, you can check for yourself, because we're going to replay that little scene. Well, you see, there were 6 of us, Mr. Bailey, and you said 12. You were seeing double. Say, you didn't happen to be in that bar, too, did you?
No, but if I could meet a girl like yours, I would have been.
I don't blame you. You notice she even paid for her drinks. But look, your $80 is added to our jackpot. And now, where is our next key witness? Right there. What's your name?
Twilla Harris.
From where are you from, Miss Harris?
Encino, California.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth? I'm sorry. I almost forgot myself. But now, your question is only worth $20. What was the name of the private detective?
I believe it was Paul. I don't think we mentioned his last name.
His name was Paul, which is exactly what you said. So will you come up to our witness stand, and you've won your $20, and now you get a chance at our jackpot at the end. Right over here. Thanks. Now, for our third key witness. Yes, sir, and what's your name?
Paul Comer from Tarzana.
From Tarzana, right?
Yes, sir.
Near home here. Well, for $90, now this is a tough one, $90. Name the location where the murder was to take place. Now, let's see how good a key witness you'd make.
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Can't you try, Mr. Comer? Oh, well, I'm sorry. You're wrong, but a lot of us can't remember addresses. You know, I can't even remember where I live half of the time. Don't you remember in the film?
You know Forsyth Road, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where it meets Granger Turnpike?
It's a pretty desolate part of the country.
It's all the better for our side.
Well, your $90 goes into our jackpot. Thank you very much. Now, incidentally, how are you people at home doing? Would that question have tripped you up? Would it? Now for key witness number 4. Yes, sir? Will you stand up, please? What's your name, please, sir?
David Richmond.
And where are you from, Mr. Richmond?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia, well, that's a long way. Now, this is for $20. What was the name of the girl in the picture? Let's check your powers of observation, huh?
I don't know.
Oh, couldn't you give it a guess? I'm terribly sorry. Well, don't you remember in the film? Your $20 is going to be added to our jackpot, but in the film, do you remember what I said?
Adrian, you remember how we met?
You were trying to catch me with a tall, dark stranger.
Right. That's who they're going to suspect.
Who?
The tall, dark stranger.
You see, her name was Adrian. Well, personally, I never have any trouble with names, Mr. Anyway, your $20 will be added to our jackpot. And now, Reed, by the way, what is the current status of our jackpot?
Well, Vincent, if my addition is correct, the jackpot now stands at $390. And now for the last act of Tall, Dark, and Handsome.
I'll call you. Well, look who's here.
I've been busy following your wife, Phelan.
Yes?
Yes, I got some of that news for you. Kind of news a man pays for but doesn't want to hear.
Well?
Did you ever hear of a man named Stevenson?
Stevenson?
George Stevenson?
No.
Well, you're going to.
You mean?
Your wife is out of her mind about him. The feeling, I think, is mutual.
I see. Where do I find him?
Take it easy.
Where do I find him?
He's got a date with Mrs. Phelan tonight.
Where?
There's a little hideaway at the intersection of Forsyth Road and Granger Turnpike. You can't miss it. It's the only house around.
What time?
9:45. They're using her car.
I see. I'll send you a check.
Look, Phelan.
Get out.
If I were you, I'd phone the police. You'd be wise to invoke the unwritten law beforehand. Tell them the story.
They'll try to stop me.
How can they leave out the details? Stocks and bonds are your business, Phelan. Crime is mine. Go ahead, dial. Happy hunting, Phelan.
Paul?
Turn out your lights. You okay, Angel?
Yeah. Did you see him?
Yeah, earlier today. His reaction was exactly what I figured.
Well, then he'll be along any minute.
Yeah, we're all set, Angel. We're all set.
Paul, I've made up my mind to something.
Yes.
I'm going to do it.
Now, wait.
Now, call it compulsion if you will. But there's no reason why you should pull the trigger.
Now, wait.
Don't argue with me.
But you asked me to help you.
You are. But this is something I must do myself. Is it your gun?
Yes, it's a .38 Detective Special. I couldn't take a chance on buying another one.
Well, give it to me.
Now, wait a minute.
Oh, there's a car. Give me the gun.
No, wait, Adrian, no.
Please, for the sake of the future, I don't even want you to see it. Please.
Be careful of that gun. It's registered in my name at National Headquarters.
I know. Don't worry.
Get out of that car, Stevenson.
The bullets found their mark. The big hulk of a man gasped in the roadbed. The job was done. Wait a minute. Squad car. The police had evidently been on Phelan's trail all day since that phone call, as I well knew they would. And now they'd found him.
Come in. Oh, darling.
How are you, baby?
Oh, wonderful, Paul. My lawyer called.
Yes.
I'm going to inherit Arthur's money, every penny of it.
Oh, great. Pretty soon we can start making plans for our future.
The district attorney is here, Mrs. Phelan, with some men from headquarters. I told him you were well enough to be interviewed.
Why, of course I am, Doctor. Send them right in.
Hey, wait a minute.
It's all right, Paul.
Yeah, but I don't want to be seen by them here.
Well, then go wait in the closet. I'll call you when they've gone.
Mrs. Phelan?
Yes, I'm Mrs. Phelan.
I'm the district attorney.
Yes, I know. The doctor told me.
Now, who is this George Stevenson?
Oh, he's a man I saw once in a while. Nothing serious.
No, of course not, Mrs. Phelan. And now let's get the particulars. What does he look like?
Do I have to tell you?
I'm afraid so.
I suppose I shouldn't feel I have to protect a murderer. George is about 6 feet 4 inches tall, gray eyes, dark hair, and a mustache.
Age?
Well, about 40.
And what does he do for a living?
Well...
Do you know?
Oh, yes, I know. He's a detective.
Detective?
Yes, he works for the Collier Detective Agency here in town. He isn't really George Stevenson. That's an assumed name. He's really Paul Hendricks, Operator 14.
Adrian.
Oh, there he is now. That's him.
She's lying. She's lying.
Oh, no, I'm not. I can prove everything I've said. You see, I've got it.
Got what, Mrs. Phelan?
The murder weapon with the 3 bullets missing. He dropped it after he shot my husband.
No.
Oh, yes. It's a 38 Detective Special. It'll be registered in his name. You'll find it in my bag there in the top drawer of the dresser.
No.
Adrian had just left. She came in to say goodbye. She said I had been such a help. I looked through my cell window at the prison courtyard, and there I caught my last glimpse of Adrian. She was walking toward an expensive car, and then I noticed a figure standing there. I stared at the man. He was handsome and young, in his late 20s. And then I saw with sickening clarity that he was tall, dark, and handsome.
Hey, I play kind of a heel in that film, don't I? Double-crossing my own client. You know, I'm not really like that at all in real life. You can just ask my wife. No, on second thought, don't ask her. Well, now let's see. You know, we have only one expert key witness so far. So open your eyes and your ears and your memory, and let's see. Now, where is our first key witness on this second part? Well, what is your name, sir? Will you stand up?
Ralph Clayton.
Oh, and what do you do, Dr. Clayton?
I'm a dentist.
A dentist, huh? Oh, good. You know, I've always wanted to make one of you fellas squirm for a change. And so this is the toughest question in the whole show, and it's worth $100. Why did Arthur call the police?
Why, he wanted them to follow his wife.
Well, let's see if you got the facts and if you got them right.
If I were you, I'd phone the police. You'd be wise to invoke the unwritten law beforehand. Tell them the story.
They'll try to stop me.
How can they leave out the details?
Well, I'm terribly sorry, Doctor. You see, he wanted Arthur to be able to plead the unwritten law. Now, did you folks at home remember that? Did you really? Now, will the next key witness stand up and be good enough to identify himself? Yes, ma'am?
I'm Fern Kennedy from Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, you're from a long way off. Do you pride yourself on your powers of observation?
I do on my memory, but I don't know whether I observe too much.
Well, now you're going to have a rare opportunity to see some. This is for $90. Who drove the convertible and who drove the closed car on the night of the murder?
Well, I think Adrian drove the closed car and Paul drove the convertible.
Well, I think you have to think about that just once more now. Adrian did drive the closed car.
Oh, I think her husband, Arthur, drove
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. There's nothing like driving a convertible to your own murder. I think it's so sporty, don't you?
Yes.
Now, will you please come up and join our other expert key witness up here on the witness stand? You get a chance at our jackpot. And now, for our next question. Our next key witness? Yes, ma'am. What is your name, please?
Ruby McGowan.
And what do you do to keep busy, Miss Brown?
I'm a housewife and mother.
Well, that'll keep you busy, won't it? Now, for $60, will you give me 2 identifying marks of Paul that Adrian gave to the DA in the hospital? You know, I'm kind of anxious to hear this one myself.
He was tall and dark.
Oh, no, you'll have to do better than that. How tall?
He was at least 6 foot.
Up.
Higher than that. 4.
6'4". You were absolutely right.
Good guess.
But she didn't say anything about his being handsome, did she? No. Well, darling, come on up now and join our other expert key witnesses, will you? You have a chance at our jackpot. And now for our last key witness. Where? Oh, yes, sir? What's your name, sir?
A.L. Nichols. I'm an attorney.
You're an attorney. Now, will you stand right there? I'd like to talk to you. Tell me, Mr. Nichols, how do you feel being asked questions instead of asking them?
Not so good.
Now, look, as an attorney, do you believe that most key witnesses' testimony is reliable?
Well, it all depends. My key witnesses are always reliable.
Oh, they are, and the other lawyers aren't, I suppose.
Well, naturally. You know, they always imagine they saw things that never happened.
Oh, I see. Well, let's see how you do, huh? This is for $20. What did Adrian have in her hand when she gave Paul away to the police?
A rose.
A rose. You're absolutely right, Mr. Nichols. She did hold a rose. Now, why do you suppose she did that?
I guess to cover the scent.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. Well, will you join our other expert key witnesses up there, and you have a chance at our jackpot question, too. Reed, by the way, how many winners do we have?
Well, Vincent, with Mr. Nichols, I make it 4. And they all have a chance at our $490 jackpot. Now, remember, if more than one of them wins, the money will be equally divided. If there is no winner, the jackpot will carry over until next week's show. Now, Vincent, let's pose that all-important jackpot question.
All right, sir. Now you have just 30 seconds to answer, and your answer must be right in every detail. For the jackpot, which is how much?
$490.
$490. Give the date and time of the murder. All right, get started. 25 seconds. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time's up. Let me have this card, please, sir. Thank you. Is this it here?
I didn't sign
sorry.
it.
Oh, that's all right. I'll find out. Let me see. Uh-oh, they're very interesting. Boy, are you wrong. Well, let's run the film and see.
I looked at the calendar next morning. Days since I'd taken on Arthur P. Phelan as a client. Objective? Trailing his wife. Now I had a new objective. Murdering my client.
What time?
9:45.
Well, it was 9:45, June 17th, and I'm terribly sorry, but none of our experts got that vital question correct. So our jackpot next week will start with $490. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Vincent Price, thanking you all for being with us on our first show. And until next week, when we have as the guest star, Miss Teresa Wright. So keep your eyes open and your ears open for Key Witness. Thank you and good night.
Key Witness, starring Vincent Price.
is my favorite words. Halt. We've been walking all day and I haven't seen a thing.
Well, hunters have their lean days.
Yeah, that's what's worrying me. The lean days. That's what's bothering me.
Out of the way, you.
Take a look.
Boy, what heavy brush. We'll have to hack our way through it. Oh, it's you, Forrest Head. Why didn't you call your shots when you stick that broom in front of this lens? You knew? It's G-N-U, knew. The G is silent. There's one thing you've got to know about wild animals. Never show them the slightest fear and they'll always respect you. And by the way, folks, keep your eyes glued to that TV set, and you'll know what I mean. Step on it, you knuckleheads. We'll miss the feast.
Don't blame me if our boat was late.
I still say we shouldn't have swum to shore. We should have waited for the rest of the gang.
When somebody throws a party in your honor, it's not nice to keep them waiting. Excuse us, sir, but are we late for the feast?
They say you boys are just in time. Start the feast.
Oh, boy, we eat.
It's a pleasure having you for dinner.
Thank you, sir. We're starving.
So are we.
Uh-oh, we landed on the wrong island.
You can say that again.
Light the fires.
Holy cat, she's going to eat us.
I say that was rather obvious, turkey brain.
Hey, Chief, you can't eat us.
Oh, it's not up to us, you chubby snake, you.
Then who gives the orders around here?
Old Man Mountain in charge of this community.
I'll accept that.
Prove it. Mountains can't talk.
Hey, Old Man Mountain, shall we cook and eat these guys from Hollywood? Said eat and enjoy yourselves.
I knew he would.
Tell that old man Mountain we wish to speak to the American ambassador on this island.
So, what'd he say?
Him say, we ate the ambassador 2 days ago. He's very funny, old Mountain.
You can't do this to me. I'm too young to be boiled. Eat Curly Joe. He's fat, delicious. There's enough here for everybody.
You really know how to hurt a guy, Larry.
Hold it, Chief. You got to give us a chance.
Okay. We have contest. You fight little tiny Kahawila. You win. You go free. You lose. We eat.
It's a deal. Get it? Little, tiny. We're practically free men. Okay, Chief. Bring on this little tiny fella.
Yeah. Bring him out.
More massacre him.
That's him behind you.
Okay, wise guy. Put him up.
Go ahead, Mo. Let him have it.
Use your left. Use your left.
You're both sick. This guy's a monster.
Then I suggest we get back in the pot.
I got a better idea. Remember David and Goliath?
I get it. The old rock and sling bit. Eh?
What a clever idea.
Okay, little tiny. Take that.
Well, fellows, we've got a little surprise for you. Are you ready for this?
I get it.
We're going to be eaten.
Well, just don't stand there, Rattlebrains. Run for your life.
Come on, I got to run.
Hey, hit me with a carrot.
I was only going to say, smile. You're on hidden camera.
Mo, you're real fearless. I bet you're not scared of anything.
Nah, if any wild animal came at me, I'd stare right in his eyes. I'd put my arm down his throat, grab him by the tail, and turn him inside out, and he'd be running the other way.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Like that lion there?
Yeah, you mean him?
Yeah, I'm him and like...
Hello, this is Don O'Malley with Don's Breakfast Cereal Show. I hope you enjoyed House on the Haunted Hill. I know Ian did. Maybe he slept, I don't remember. So join us next week when we'll have our regularly scheduled serials. And thanks again for tuning in to Don's Breakfast Cereal Show with Ian O'Malley.